Autonomous military vehicles are changing war faster than anyone expected. Right now, on battlefields across the globe, machines are making life-and-death decisions without human intervention. And the speed of this transformation? It's terrifying. Let's start with what's actually happening on the ground. In Ukraine, autonomous drones are hunting targets independently. No pilot, no remote operator, just artificial intelligence making tactical decisions in real time. Turkish-made cargo drones have already been used to track and engage targets without requiring data connectivity between the operator and the munition. Think about that for a second. These aren't video game controllers anymore. These are weapon systems that can identify, track, and eliminate targets on their own. But drones are just the beginning. Ground vehicles are evolving even faster. The U.S. Army's Robotic Combat Vehicle program is developing tanks that can operate autonomously in convoy formations, detect threats, and engage targets with minimal human oversight. Russia's Uran unmanned ground combat vehicle has been deployed in Syria. Israel's Jaguar unmanned combat vehicle can patrol borders and engage threats autonomously. This isn't science fiction. This is happening now. Naval warfare is transforming too. The U.S. Navy's Sea Hunter is an autonomous submarine hunting vessel that can operate for months without a crew. China has been testing swarms of autonomous underwater vehicles capable of coordinating attacks on enemy vessels and submarines. But here's where it gets really alarming. The technology isn't just advancing, it's accelerating. What took a decade to develop 5 years ago now takes 18 months. Machine learning algorithms that would have required supercomputers now run on chips the size of your thumbnail. And the implications, they're staggering. First, the speed of warfare is about to explode. When machines can make decisions in milliseconds, human commanders won't be able to keep up. Wars could escalate from skirmish to full conflict in minutes, not days. Second, the barrier to entry for advanced military capabilities is collapsing. Countries that couldn't afford traditional military hardware can now field devastating autonomous forces for a fraction of the cost. A swarm of 100 autonomous drones costs less than a single fighter jet but could potentially overwhelm its defenses. Third, and perhaps most concerning, we're losing accountability. When an autonomous system makes a mistake and kills civilians, who's responsible? The programmer? The commanding officer? The machine itself? International law hasn't caught up, and it's falling further behind every single day. The United Nations has been debating regulations on lethal autonomous weapon systems for years. Meanwhile, militaries worldwide have deployed them dozens of times. Some experts predict that by 2030, the majority of military vehicles in advanced nations will have some form of autonomous capability. That's just 5 years away. But here's what really keeps defense analysts up at night. The arms race has already begun. Every major military power knows that falling behind in autonomous technology could mean losing the next conflict before it even starts. So they're pushing development faster, cutting corners on testing, and deploying systems before we fully understand their implications. There's also the cyber vulnerability. Autonomous systems rely on software, and software can be hacked. Imagine an enemy taking control of your autonomous tank battalion and turning it against your own forces. It sounds like a movie plot, but military cybersecurity experts consider it one of their top concerns. And then there's the question of judgment. Can a machine truly understand the fog of war? Can it recognize when a civilian vehicle is actually carrying combatants, or when surrendering soldiers should be taken prisoner instead of engaged? Human soldiers make mistakes, but they also show mercy. They can recognize complex ethical situations. Can we really program morality into code? Some military ethicists argue we shouldn't even try. They say that removing humans from lethal decision-making crosses a fundamental moral line. But the counter-argument is equally compelling. Autonomous systems don't get scared. They don't panic. They don't act out of revenge. In theory, a properly programmed autonomous weapon could be more ethical than a human soldier operating under extreme stress. In theory. What's certain is this. The transformation is happening whether we're ready or not. Commercial technology companies are driving much of the innovation. Advances in self-driving cars, delivery drones, and AI image recognition are being rapidly adapted for military use. The same sensors that help your Tesla avoid pedestrians can help a combat vehicle identify and engage enemy forces. And here's something most people don't realize. Autonomous military technology isn't just changing how wars are fought. It's changing who can fight them. Small nations and even non-state actors can now field sophisticated autonomous forces. Terrorist organizations are already experimenting with autonomous drone swarms. The monopoly that major powers held on advanced military technology is evaporating. So what happens next? In the near term, we'll see hybrid systems, autonomous vehicles that can operate independently, but with humans maintaining oversight and authorization for lethal actions. This is called supervised autonomy. But that's a transitional phase. As AI becomes more capable and warfare becomes faster, the pressure to remove humans from the decision loop will only increase. Within a decade, we could see the first entirely autonomous military operation, machines planning, executing, and completing a mission without any human involvement. It's a future that arrives faster than anyone expected, because that's the nature of exponential technological change. What took 50 years in the 20th century now takes 5. The gap between possible and deployed shrinks every year. And autonomous military vehicles? They're not just changing war, they're changing everything. How we think about conflict, how we think about security, how we think about what it means to be human in an age when machines can make life and death decisions. The transformation is already underway. The question isn't whether autonomous military vehicles will change warfare. They already have. The real question is, are we prepared for what comes next? Based on how fast things are moving? Probably not. If you want to help this channel grow, please hit like, subscribe, and watch one of these 2 videos on screen right now. That's the best way to contribute, and it really helps the channel.